And I am Goblin.
And we just went to PAX.
Yeah, we did.
I actually haven't really been to that many conventions. Got a little bit of the social anxiety, so I don't like crowds. So this was kind of like a first. And wow, we went on Sunday, and apparently that was like its slowest day.
Yeah.
But I was definitely overwhelmed by those crowds.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not really affected
good.
by the crowd thing quite as much as I think you are, but I can also see where I'm going.
Yeah, you are much taller than I am. I just have to wade through the masses of people and hope that a giant flashing sign will tell me where I'm going. Otherwise, I might have somebody yell at me.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that might happen. There might be a jerk in the midst.
Yeah, who when you apologize to him, you say, "I'm sorry," and then he says, You fucking better be. That was so fucking classic. Oh man, that was like amazing. But also, really just like one guy out of however many people were
That's
there.
what I was going to say. That's what I was saying earlier. Is I'm surprised it's only one out of that many people.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
So that's a pretty positive thing. I did run into one asshole, but really, whatever. They exist, and he had nothing better to do.
Yep. There's lots of them out there.
Oh god, yeah.
So PAX, yeah, we went down to Boston, got in. You got stopped on the way through the door for a
yeah,
radio
that's right.
show.
I forgot. A radio station had, or a DJ from one of the local radio stations in Boston, had stopped me for a brief questionnaire on various games. And I did my best to answer those questions. They were harder than I thought they were going to be.
They were harder
so
than I
might
thought
be
they were
on the
gonna be,
radio.
too.
What's that?
They were harder than I expected to.
Well, I think, like you said, he probably did just sort of print them off that morning.
Yeah.
Without looking at them.
Oh, definitely.
And he admittedly said he has not played any of those games, so
Yeah.
he had no clue. So I did my best to answer them, and the radio DJ did his best to, nudge the answers in my direction so I could see them.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I think you did pretty good for Mass. I mean, Mass Effect. There's a lot of trivia to Mass Effect, so I think you did all right.
Oh yeah.
But
I'd like to think I did.
Yeah. So
but yeah, so my voice might be on the radio in Boston very briefly.
Yep.
I have no way of knowing because I do not get radio stations from Boston where I am.
Yeah, you can, man, online. We know what station it was.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Which one was it?
I don't recall. WAFF or something like that? I don't remember.
Okay. I'm sure it's in some of the images you took.
I'm positive I could come up with... Oh, actually, you know what? I have it. It's WAAF Boston.
Great. So I might be on the radio there, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
That was pretty weird, considering out of all of the people in front of this place, he decided to come talk to me.
Yeah, I know.
That's so weird.
It was pretty good.
I do not stand out at all.
I don't know, man. Maybe he just smelled nerd on you.
I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, it's all around you, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I must have been truly amazing.
I don't know, man. You definitely... I think you bathed, at least.
I did, yeah. I managed to do that earlier that morning.
You were most definitely not the nerdiest smelling person there.
Yeah, I can vouch for that one. Holy shit.
So, anyway, we saw a lot of really cool games. Other than the crowd aside, we spent a lot of time by the indie section.
Yeah. Some of the indie games there, there were definitely a few that really stood out. I'd say Artizens is definitely one of them.
Artizens, I think, might... I don't know. I think it might be my favorite out of the ones that we saw, just because of how completely customizable it is. Because it's a game made for artists, pretty much. It's made for anybody. But if you're an artist, you're gonna really be interested in this game because you can basically create all of the assets yourself. And that sounds awesome.
It's a side-scrolling hack-and-slash game, and it looks like it probably has some role-play elements as well. But basically, you can take every little part of your character, their head, their torso, their arms, their legs...
Their weapons.
Yep. And you can apply properties to them as well, and you can level up those things over time. But the big thing of it is, you can take a document from Photoshop, if it fits the right dimensions, and put it into the game as like a helmet or an entire character or a weapon.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like that it's completely customizable. It looks fun. It looks whimsical.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I would definitely boot up and play around in. So, I think that was my favorite. That was my favorite one, just because it appealed to a lot of my senses. The things that I want to kind of mess around with in a game.
Well, yeah, that's honestly some of my favorite parts of games. Actually, most of us who are on our channel love character customization and making our own characters. That's Slime's favorite part of any game that she can do that in.
I think it's mine too. I like creating things. Then again, all of us on this channel are artists, so...
Yeah, there's that.
Outside of gaming. But... yeah, Artizens was great. Another one was, and I can never remember the name of it. It's
Starship Empire. That was pretty great. Yeah.
That game
by Bruno Campolo at Bantam City Games.
Yeah, we'll put links to all of the either the websites or the Steam pages for all of these games too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, his game, it was really interesting talking to him, because his booth wasn't really that busy when we stopped by. It was pretty much just us. And hearing about his development on the game, that he's been doing it part-time for 5 years.
Alone?
Yeah, alone,
just him. It's just him, like, making all the... I mean, I guess he contracts out for some of the artwork and stuff, but...
the music, too, yeah, but...
that game is impressive. It's really fun.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and describe what your how you played it a little more than I did, so you describe what your experience was.
Okay, yeah. Well, the game is basically it's like a top-down. What would you call that when you're in spaceship mode?
Top-down, real-time starship battle game.
Yeah, it's like a strategy kind of game. But the thing that's really fun, and I thought it was kind of one of those. I was like, oh, okay, this is I like these kind of games. They're kind of fun. You mine the asteroids as they go by for fuels and different supplies, and you can shoot up enemy ships. But then he has this function where you can actually go into the interior of your ship and command the people inside to either take care of engines, run the med bay. Command the front. You can assign them to all these different things, and another really cool feature is the idea that when you're out floating in space with other people, you can actually latch onto another ship with like a tractor beam, and you can board their ship and take them out from the inside. You don't have to just laser the shit out of their vessel. You can actually go in their vessel and take their people down, and that's such a cool idea. And the fact that he's been able to get this far on his own part-time in the development of a game like that is really cool. And I really hope that his Kickstarter gets funded, and I really hope he gets some people to help him out to make that game happen, because I would most definitely play it.
Yeah, I noticed as soon as he had... somebody else was playing initially, and I was drawn to the game immediately when you could go inside the ship and then start commanding people. Now, it's similar to a game called FTL, but...
yeah, it's like FTL.
His game has what looks like a much higher level of detail, which for me is maybe a little bit more important. I just kind of like to be able to see all the little things as more than just simple icons,
right,
or very, very abstract forms.
Yeah, I feel bad. I hate things like that when somebody's just working their ass off on something and it just something similar comes out.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, oh, what?
That always happens.
It always happens. But anyway, the guy was really great too. He was really, really friendly. I got along with him. But what else do we have near him? There was something else.
We were playing a game by Rocket 5 Studios. I don't think it wasn't their primary game, which is the ThePantomPI.
Right.
But we were playing just a game they whipped up for the con. It was a multiplayer game. It was sort of like
pooping eggs.
Yeah, it was pooping eggs. You fly around as you're a character flying around on a raven, and the raven collects eggs and drops them, and they explode. It feels a little bit like a side-scrolling flying Bomberman.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun.
It's super silly, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would definitely. If that was for sale, I would just buy it because it would be a fun party game.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure it will be on sale at some point. If it is, then that's great. You can check at Rocket 5 Studios, Rocket 5 as in the number studios.com to see if that's for sale. That would probably be a good thing to get.
It would, yeah. That's pretty fun. We had a good time. I think that was the first game we played when we got there.
Yeah, we walked down, and that was the booth we managed to stumble into.
Yeah. We didn't really go to a lot of the bigger spots.
It's pretty significant lines and masses of people blocking the way.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like obviously Square Enix had a huge amount of people around it. Halo 5 had a lot of people lined up to try that out. I would have loved to get into the Oculus Rift, but that thing had a line going around the whole building practically. What else did we have? Oh, Guild Wars 2 seemed to have, I think, the biggest setup.
Yeah, that was really big. It looked really nice, too.
It did. I went in and I checked that out. That game looks really slick.
Does it?
Yeah. It looks really good. I'm actually looking forward to that. I played a little bit of the first one. I just like the feel. I like the look. It's sort of like when we're talking about N64 games and we're talking about Turok versus Turok 2.
Right, yeah.
It feels kind of like that. Like the vibe of Guild Wars 2 is sort of akin to... to Guild Wars 1 what maybe Turok 2 is to Turok 1. It's just a much richer looking...
Yeah, I saw some stuff about Guild Wars 2 years ago at this point. It's out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I haven't really looked at it since, so I might have to check that out.
It was a nice reminder, for sure.
Yeah, because I definitely had forgotten it was a thing that existed.
Let's see. Their tabletop section, I think we were both fairly unenthused with.
Yeah, the tabletop setup there was fairly small. It seemed like it could have used a larger footprint, and also what was there was honestly a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, it was. There was no...
I didn't see miniatures over by there, which was insane to me.
And I was looking for shelves of books. I wanted to
none.
see shelves of role-playing tabletop books, but mostly it was... I mean, there were some really fun independent tabletop board games or card games. There was some cool stuff, but mostly it was dominated by Magic.
That was the big thing there, Magic.
And I've never been a big
really expensive dice.
Very expensive dice. Yeah.
I was really taken aback by that. I was like, surely they're not charging $5 a die.
Yeah.
And then they definitely were.
Cast plastic.
Yeah, I'm positive if you were to go to their site, it wouldn't cost that much. But
No.
I liked a lot of the... They did have some miniatures, but they were really intense, like Warhammer ones. I didn't see really any in the way of D&D or Pathfinder, except when we first came in, and that was near the indie booth.
I didn't even see that.
Well, I had picked some up, remember?
Oh, no, yeah, I forgot. I was checking out The Adventures of Pip.
Ah, okay. What'd you think of that?
It looks like fun. I mean, it's a very traditional kind of game, but I honestly have to do a little bit more research on it because their booth was just packed.
Yeah. The Star Trek Timelines game at the Disruptor Beam.
Right, Disruptor Beam.
Yeah. That game looks pretty good. The game itself is very, very simple. You basically select crew members, and they have particular ratings giving the mission or the situations. So you're basically picking an away team to deal with the missions. And depending on who you pick, they have certain bonuses or negatives to certain skills. And basically it's like a die roll when you get into it.
Yeah.
You hit a button, a number spins by, and you have those modifiers come into play, and then you either succeed or you don't, and then you move down different paths. The thing that's really the draw, because the gameplay is very, it's kind of just, it's pretty simplistic.
Yeah, I watched you for a minute play that game.
Well, the thing that really draws me in, and this is also true for their Game of Thrones game, which I did check out, is that it's really well written. You have dialogue options within the game's story.
Yeah.
And the writing is just really, really, really good. The story in Timelines is interesting because it's just smashing up all of the different timelines of Star Trek, right, and making it so you can have an away team with 7 of 9 and Data and Locutus or whoever.
Oh, that makes sense, because I got a picture taken in their photo booth, and I'm sitting there with 7 of 9, and what was Will Wheaton's character?
Oh, man. No way. Wesley Crusher.
Yeah. And I can't remember who else was in there, but I was like, what is happening in here anyway?
I think was it... I don't remember what the other person was in that image either, because they had the cardboard cutouts there.
Yeah, and it's the same art from the game, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's good stuff. It's well done.
It was Sulu.
Was it Sulu? Okay, yeah. Great. But yeah, you can pick whoever you want, which is kind of interesting. Also, the mission they had you go on at the demo at PAX was you're taking your away team to deal with a hostile... I don't know if this is the first mission or the second one. I think it was the first one. You're dealing with a hostile Worf who's from another reality.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Which was cool because I think I brought Worf with me to take him out. And then you also go to Deep Space Nine, and your ship goes there, and you can hover around, and you can pan around and zoom out around the Enterprise. And the models look great.
I didn't know you were such a Star Trek fan.
Oh, I am.
Really?
I watched it, but mostly The Next Generation, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
I didn't know you liked it that much.
Yeah, I grew up watching it, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna... This is completely off topic. I was just really excited to see the Behemoth.
The Behemoth?
Yeah.
Oh, from Evolve?
No. The company.
Oh, Behemoth, the company!
Yeah.
I thought Behemoth from Evolve, which might be a thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I was really excited to see Behemoth. No, I was really excited to see those guys. I didn't get a chance to play any of their games either, but they had a really fun display right next to World of Tanks.
Yeah. I'm impressed by the amount of people who like World of Tanks. I do not understand why.
I don't either, and I was walking through the crowds and I heard so many people say, like, let's go, we gotta get to World of Tanks. Wow. You do?
Okay.
Why do you have to do that again?
Apparently it's super popular.
Yeah, I mean...
And you and I have poor taste.
Yep. Well, that's true.
Regrettably, I didn't get a chance to see anything, apparently, having to do with Shadowrun Hong Kong, which would have been great, but I do have a little flyer from it for some reason.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
I love Shadowrun, it's amazing.
Yeah, Shadowrun's great. It was really cool to see a couple YouTubers. I didn't see a lot.
Yeah, I saw them over the heads of other people.
Yeah, well, we were in the
fighting
indies.
at the bit to be near them.
We were in the there was a lot of that. But then, I mean, it was fun to see some of the smaller people, like people from the two people that we walked by, and I was like, oh yeah, it's those guys. And I couldn't remember the name of their channel. It's called Far From Subtle.
Okay.
That's their channel. They do a lot of like reaction videos to like video games, and they do let's plays of certain games. But so we saw a couple of those guys. Markiplier was there.
Yeah,
he had a gigantic crowd of people that I didn't realize. I didn't realize he was there.
Oh, right. This is when you got in trouble.
Yeah, because we left the. Okay, first of all, we were leaving the live D&D game.
Oh, yeah.
Which was probably my favorite part.
That was great.
PAX that day, where you had Chris Perkins as the DM for 4 people that I don't know what they're all from. I know
they're from stuff. I know that
one guy's a writer, and I think, let me see,
yeah, Frogbat knows who that is.
I can't remember what he wrote, but oh god, now I feel really stupid because I had it like right in my mind.
Oh no.
Anyway, it was Mike Kralik, Jerry Hawkins, Scott Kurtz, and Patrick Rothfuss. Those were the people that were playing. One of them's a webcomic artist, I believe. 2 of the guys are from Penny Arcade, and the other writes fantasy novels. And that's the guy. I can't remember who's who there, but anyway, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That game was great, and it is a continuation from PAX last year.
Oh, good. Okay,
same
I wasn't sure because I obviously had not been to the other one.
Right, me either. So, so we were leaving that. We were there for quite a while because that was. I don't think any of us really expected that to be as good as it was.
No, when I heard live D&D, I was not hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, I guess that'd be right.
Yeah, and then it was really good and very, very funny. The way they had the camera set up and the monitor set up was really helpful.
That was great.
So they zoom in when they rolled the dice, so you can see what it landed on. They had like oversized D20s most of the time.
Yep.
Which also was handy, and the place they were in was interesting because they had mechanisms that could move entire rooms around. That was great.
In the game.
Yeah, in the game.
Not in.
And then they moved the entire auditorium around.
So we left that.
Yes.
And we went down into the main expo area, and I walked down, and there's 1 billion people just standing around. I was like, what is this? And so I stopped, and I was looking at my phone, and I looked up, and Markiplier was standing there. And I was like, oh, it's Markiplier. Okay. And I picked up my phone, snapped a picture, and I had security people on me. And they were like, you have to keep moving. You're in the walking lane. It's like, the walking lane is probably like 20 feet wide, and there was nobody there. Everybody was either on the other side of the walking lane or, one side or the other, and I was just happened to stop. I wasn't even there for like all of 2 seconds. And I didn't move. I resisted. But
did you?
I did.
They didn't physically move you?
I think they quickly realized they couldn't. Because, I mean, nothing against like our entire audience, but I think we all know how how tough certain like nerdy type people can be.
Yeah,
and these guys
I certainly know. I'm not a tough guy. So.
These guys were significantly small, and yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, Markiplier was there, and that was great. It was cool. It was, I didn't really stop to listen to too much of what he was talking about. I know he sang a duet with somebody or something, but I was on my way to the indie area at that point, so I was kind of done.
Yeah. I didn't get really a good look at any of the YouTube folks, and I unfortunately didn't know who most of them were.
Yeah.
I am woefully out of the loop.
I knew who you were.
That's good. That's a better job than I did.
Yeah, let's see, what else happened after that?
Overall, I was pretty impressed by a lot of the indie booths for such, like, obviously smaller companies, hell, even families. They did a really good job putting together their presentations and getting very large banners printed and put up and hauling all that equipment around.
Yeah, there was such a stark difference between some of the bigger name games and developers in the indie area, but I honestly had a lot more fun in the indie area.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
it's just nicer to talk to the developers for a little bit longer period of time than you possibly could at the other booths.
Yeah.
And I'm most interested in that.
Yeah, I like talking to the guys, and like, you go over to Square Enix, you're probably not necessarily going to talk to like
the guy who made it.
Maybe, but I don't know, and you never really know because it's just so many people there.
I do not know.
You just can't you can't move. The indie area was at least easier to navigate, and people were a little bit more likely to talk to you.
There was definitely a booth that stood out in the indie section. We're not going to really get into details, but I was very surprised by how much presentation they had, and that they had a sponsor.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. In that
you know
game,
exactly what I'm talking about.
Game
We're not going to use names.
But that game was not fun.
No, it was a very, very unfinished, very awkwardly put together game.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe the presentation, though, around it.
The presentation
they had
was really
5 or 6, like 5 foot, 6 foot banners.
Yep.
And lots of drawings and Photoshop paintings, and a sponsorship from a company.
Yep. And then you sit down and play the game, and you're like, wow.
What is happening? It was just... It looked a lot like a school project.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah. The devs were interesting folks, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get too far into that.
We can't get too deep.
No.
But, suffice to say, we had an interesting time.
It was definitely an interesting time. And yeah, and then what we do? We ran into Mike the Liar.
We did run into Mike the Liar.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
That was a lot of
we saw a lot of good cosplayers there, and I did not interact with most of them, but Mike, I had to.
Oh, yeah, I saw Mike coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I was pretty happy, to say the least, that we got to hang out with Mike the Liar for a little bit there.
It's one of those things, you play an Elder Scrolls game and you're looking out for Mike the Liar. Because he's there, he's going to show up. And then in real life you're just walking around and it's like, oh, over there. There he is.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in Daggerfall or not, but I do know he's in Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim.
Right.
And I'm going to check if he was
in PAXEast.
In PAXEast. I'm going to see if he was.
In Daggerfall?
Yeah.
Are you checking? Okay.
I need to know.
Yeah, you do. You have to know. So yeah, I guess going back to
he is in ESO though.
Yeah, I knew that.
You knew that. I did not.
I didn't.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
But he was not in Daggerfall, regrettably.
Yeah. Nah. That's okay. He was at PAX, and that's all I care about.
That's impressive.
But yeah, I'd say overall I had a really good time. I would say that their coffee's overpriced.
No shit.
And
the dice are overpriced.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of overpriced stuff and a lot of like super hyped up stuff.
Despite the crowds and a couple low points, I overall think I enjoyed my time there. I'm not sure if I have the fortitude to go on an actual busy day.
Yeah,
like
I think
Saturday.
you'd have to work in some breaks.
Yeah, I would need to.
We really did it. Like, we did it fast track. You know, if we were there all weekend, we'd leave and go do something else. But we only went for a day, so.
Well, we can find out how things go next year.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yep.
I know Cadric would like to go as well. Cadric is kind of a part-timer on the channel. He hasn't really been featured in anything, but he does do a little bit of setup with us.
Yeah.
And
Cadric,
he's bound to show up in something eventually.
I don't know if he'd like the amount of humans there. I think he'd probably love the drive
he
down
wants to go
and
really
going
bad.
underground.
Yeah. Well, Cadric likes mosh pits and doesn't really have an issue with crowds the same way I do.
Okay.
As long as he doesn't have to talk to anybody, he's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I know Frogbat and Slime were both with us, and that was a blast as well.
Yeah,
it was good having them around.
Yeah, Slime was on her DS most of the time.
Yep. Well, you go to your safe place.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, street passes.
Oh, right. Jeez. That was an endless stream from those two.
Yep. They pretty much were just street passing all day.
They took mine also.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I don't do street pass. I don't really care.
I don't have a DS, so...
Perfect.
Dodge that bullet.
Way to go.
But, yeah.
So you would definitely go again?
I would, yeah.
Okay. I'm a little up in the air about it, but I might be up for trying it again.
You know, try everything twice just to make sure.
Yep, we've heard that from a very wise man. But
yeah, I mean, next year comes around and we have the same opportunity as this year. I'd give it another shot. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I want you, Pax, if you're listening, to beef up your tabletop area.
Yeah.
Put in some book-based role-playing games. That'd be really cool.
Get some more minis out there that aren't,
Get some more minis for Golem.
Get minis for me. And definitely some fucking Pathfinder books.
Yeah, Pathfinder books, D&D, something. Role-playing, I don't care. Wizards of the Coast, bring it on. Something. I don't care.
Perfect.
I didn't see any of that, so I want to see more of that.
I saw a smidge in, I think it might have been a Game Shop's booth that we were in.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
It was that first one. Yeah, maybe,
yeah.
But that booth was super tiny. That shouldn't have even been there.
Yeah. Probably not.
I don't think, when you think about it, it was surrounded
by... I think there were some local game shops who had some spaces in those areas.
They didn't belong.
They didn't belong. I mean, they might have been better off near the other stuff.
Yeah.
And though a few of them had they had video games for sale in their booths as well, so maybe it's just sort of this in-between space.
Yeah, I guess at that point you decide for yourself, which ones you're going to make the most money off of. Video games or your tabletop stuff, so.
Yeah.
I guess that's our PAX experience. I had a great time. Regardless of anything weird that happened, I think we both kind of had a good time. Lots of good people, lots of fun stuff to see. You have anything to add there, Golem?
I really don't. It's time to go.
Well, this is Goblin.
This is Golem.
And we are signing out.